What's going on, everybody? Welcome to GroupCast Sports Pick'em Edition, Week 2. Want to thank you all for tuning in and watching us this week. Want to also thank our sponsors, People's Bank and Miss Sharon Ammann and her Rodan and Fields business. Now, just jumping into the action here, we're going to do a recap of last week, starting with the JDC and Collins game. I was the one person who chose Collins to win. Unfortunately, that was not the case.
You owe me $20.
He'll get it Friday. But anyways, so yeah, Collins, from what I heard, I wasn't at the game, but from what I heard, it was a really close game. Collins actually led for a while and just couldn't end up pulling through. But all these guys got a win in the column, and I got a loss. You guys want to say anything about the Collins JDC game?
It was closer than I expected it to be. I'll say that. I expected JDC to come through with a big win.
When y'all were saying JDC by...
Collins jumped up early, and that surprised me. They jumped up 13-0.
I think you got a little caught up in the whole, former NFL player coach.
Yeah.
And you thought that meant automatic wins.
Well, no, I didn't think that, but I do think that adding that to your team is always good. On to our next game recap: Simpson versus Leak. Ethan was the only guy here to choose for Simpson to win. I personally, me and Randy, we went to the game. In my personal opinion, I think that the game could have gone either way. I think that one fumble at the end of the game with like 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
A little bit over 2.
Yeah, I mean,
really, I don't think the score reflected how the game was, honestly.
Yeah.
Simpson dominated most of the game, and they almost let it slip away from them. It really surprised me and Grayson how they played. It was definitely a gut check game for them. But going into this week, that win really doesn't matter anymore. It was definitely a good win for them, and it got their motivation going into this week and all that. But when they almost let the game slip away in 2 minutes, that was a real big. Yeah, because that was a wake up call right there that they've got to.
I don't want to take anything away from Simpson. Okay, you're gonna have to excuse me. I'm sick, but honestly, Simpson did come out and show that they are a team. Now, this game didn't show as much to me that Simpson is a good team, but it showed more of I was overestimating how good Leak Academy was. I think Simpson Academy showed me a little bit, but I'm worried about if Simpson Academy doesn't get in that dominating stage. I didn't see anything from their passing game, so I'm worried when Simpson Academy isn't in that dominating stage if they're going to just be able to hand the ball off so many times and still win.
The one thing that I could take away from that Simpson game that was probably my biggest surprise was the secondary. Now, don't get me wrong, Leak had a lot of drops. But and that quarterback for Leak was good, but
they probably had 4 or 5 touchdown passes that were dropped.
But the secondary did come up with some pretty big plays, and I think at the end that's really how you figure how Simpson won that game was the secondary, because all in all, 18 points.
They're a good team, but I think if they run into a team that can score fast enough, I don't think they'll be able to keep up with it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Once again, not taking anything away from Simpson. They did do what they needed to do, and they got the win. But, they proved all of us wrong, but Ethan. So
they've definitely got to balance out their offense and passing.
I think that Simpson just needs to learn that they're constantly running the ball, just nonstop, and once they come up against a team, like you said, that can just score fast and have a strong defense, they're going to have to change something.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that once they face a team that scores quickly, I think they're going to start throwing the ball, and that's just getting them out of their game plan, and who knows how it will go for Simpson.
Then again, they could just be saving it to a district play.
Moving on to Mendenhall against Raymond. Yeah, we were all right. This wasn't a close game, and none of us expected it to be. Mendenhall absolutely dominated Raymond from the very beginning. Raymond didn't score a point until Mendenhall, until it was jump time. Mendenhall took out their starters.
I think the same. It's the same thing with McGee. I mean, playing North Forest, that's an easy win, and McGee did what they had to do, and they got the job done.
these teams, you can't say that either one of them is great from these games because they're supposed to do that on these games.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have done that, then there would be a problem. You know, if it was
Then you start to be worried.
if it was close, then it'd be bad on these teams. But it was supposed to be a blowout, and they were both blowouts.
Yeah. Now we're going to move into our actual pick'ems for this week. I want to start off by thanking everybody who sent us messages on Facebook to get your high school's game featured this week. And after looking over it and really seeing which teams played who, it was a no-brainer that our featured game this week would be Northwest Rankin versus Pearl. I'm going to start off by saying that this deserves to be the game of the week. This game it's a battle between possibly who's going to end up winning the state championship. It's going to either be Northwest Rankin or Pearl.
Very likely.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say I think Northwest Rankin wins this game. I think it's close, and I do think that it is a very, very fun football game to watch.
I have Northwest Rankin as well. Northwest Rankin is averaging 300 yards through the air and almost 500 on the ground. I think their offense is explosive. You know, they have Jerry and Jones over there, Mississippi State commit. I don't see Pearl stopping their offense, and Pearl has no passing game. They're depending on their running back to win games. So for that reason, I have Northwest Rankin in a game that I don't think is very close.
I'm going to go with Pearl. I just think they won the state championship last year.
They did.
And I just think that they're going to beat Northwest Rankin. I don't really know much about the two teams. I didn't do my research like I should have, but I think Pearl will win.
See, with Pearl, last year doesn't matter. It just don't matter. They lost a lot of good talent. But with Northwest Rankin, I think they're going to jump out on Pearl early. With Jones and all the other ones around, they just got some deadly offensive tools. Now, Pearl, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Pearl's going to be able to wear them down with the run game.
Yeah,
I think Pearl's going to win the second half.
Pearl's
but
averaging.
they're not going to make up for what happened in the first half.
Pearl's averaging what, 200?
300
yards.
Northwest Rankin, you said, is averaging how many?
Northwest Rankin's almost averaging 500 on the ground and almost 300 through there due to that dynamic threat at receiver.
Wow.
You know, my head tells me this is a no-brainer. Northwest Rankin is too good. But just sitting here thinking, something's telling me that Pearl's going to take this one. You know, they're a winning team. They know how to win. Their coaches are brilliant. Pearl, their ground game, you know, as we all know, is insane. I think Pearl wears them down and uses their great defense and, you know, kind of silences that Northwest Rankin offense. Northwest Rankin will not have how many yards?
They're averaging almost 800.
They won't have near that against Pearl. I don't think this will be that high scoring, honestly. I think it'll be
a battle of the defense.
I think Pearl, honestly, wears them down. It comes down to the wire, and I think Pearl steals it at the end.
Unless Northwest Rankin can jump out on them early, then I got it going to Pearl. But I'm saying unless Northwest Rankin come out early and just score a couple touchdowns early, then they're going to win. But if they don't do that, Pearl's going to be able to wear them down pretty easily, and they're going to end up coming out. But right now, I got Northwest Rankin.
Well, seeing that Pearl has averaging 10 yards passing,
10 yards.
I think that just goes to show that they consistently pound the clock. They're fast. They're a run-first offense. They seem like they're running on third down. I just think that Pearl's going to just run the clock.
They're averaging 10 yards to rush or
no,
10 yards a game passing. See, that's where I disagree with you. I think that that's a big stat, but I think that just goes to show how one-dimensional their offense is. And I think when you can only do one thing for the whole game, then I figure that Northwest Rankin can find a way to stop it.
Well, I mean, then again, you never know. It could just be the fact that Pearl might not have to pass.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I think that the winner of this game will go on to win the state championship.
Agreed.
I agree.
6A is not what it's been in the last few years. Nobody across
the only
6A.
We were just talking about was it South Panola and Clinton?
Yeah.
South Panola had 8 fumbles.
And Clinton won by 7 points.
7 points.
Yeah, so those are the only other team in 6A that I could see competing would be Starkville, who's actually ranked number one overall right now.
I think they're going to get beat this week against West Point.
See, Starkville just came out and absolutely destroyed Oxford, 57-0. So I think that Starkville's a very good team, and I think they handle West Point pretty easily this week.
So I've got Northwest Rankin winning.
Northwest Rankin.
Pearl.
I had Northwest Rankin by about 3.
Pearl in an upset.
Moving on to our next game, it's going to be Simpson Academy versus Oak Forest. You know, like I said, I went against Simpson last week, and after watching the game last week and then watching Oak Forest this week on film and things like that, this is a tough one for me because I think right now that a lot of Simpson players feel like they have something to prove, and anytime that you put guys on a football field that think that they have doubters and think that they have something to prove, it can be deadly, but then again, it can also backfire. I think that Oak Forest is a great team, and I think that Simpson struggles in this game, and all in all, when the final horn blows, I think that those struggles are too much, and I've got Simpson losing this week to Oak Forest by about 7 points. I don't think that this is going to be some blowout, but I do think that Oak Forest is a very, very well-rounded, good football team, and I just think that they end up coming out on top over Simpson this week.
Oak Forest is a very good team. You know, they've started 2-0. They're in a very good football city in Ammann, Louisiana, which is actually home to 2 5-star players in another school, but still in the same city. So I think the city is just full of athletes. Oak Forest did lose their quarterback and top receiver last year, but their running back, who was explosive throughout the whole year, is still with the team. And, you know, I don't see Simpson stopping him. That's all I got, man.
I'm gonna go with Simpson again. Of course, Oak Forest is gonna be the favorite in this one, but Leak was the favorite here last week. And the reason I go with Simpson here is, like Grayson said, it can be deadly and it can be a struggle. And I think that Simpson is gonna keep using this same, I guess you could say, momentum that we're giving them, or the haters, who, whatever you want to say, is giving them. And I think that they're going to run the ball because, like I said, they just run. And I think that Corbin Hosey and Michael Winston is going to have very, very good games. But I
will say Corbin Hosey definitely
really
stepped
ran the ball
up that game.
Michael had a long one, didn't he?
They had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Corbin had a touchdown.
I'd also like to add in that next week, Simpson Academy is actually getting their star player back, Caleb Garner, and I think that would be just a huge addition for them. I think Caleb is the heart and soul of their team, and I think with him back, you know, Simpson could do some big things this year.
Big key to their defense and offense.
It's really hard for me to choose what Simpson's got to do because of last week. Nobody here except for Ethan expected them to win. But they showed a lot of grit last week in the game, but I just think this week against Oak Forest, they're not going to win it. They're a one-dimensional team, and they're just not going to be able to overcome it. I called my friend up, Zach Ainsworth. He was with Simpson last year, and asked him what he thought. And he said last year Simpson was a better team and still lost to Oak Forest. And he said through the offseason, even with losing the quarterback and everyone else, that Oak Forest has only gotten better. And even he sees Simpson losing this one. So when somebody that graduated from their school sees their school losing, that's pretty
telling.
It's pretty clear that, don't get me wrong, Simpson's a good team. They're well-rounded. They showed last week they got grit, they got it all, they got gut, but they do not have a passing game right now. And that's just going to kill them. If somebody can jump out on them early, there's just no way they're going to be able to come back. Corbin and Michael really ran the ball. They ran it exceptionally well, but I just don't see it this week. I'm not going to pick a blowout, no 21 points, but I just don't see them being able to beat Oak Forest.
Now, this one's hard for me because, once again, like everyone else said, Simpson showed a lot of grit. They definitely proved me wrong. They're a really good team. I don't buy the fact that Oak Forest is better this year. I think Oak Forest got worse. I don't think they got better. But then again, Simpson got considerably worse in my book. I think this one's hard for me. I think Oak Forest takes it, honestly. It's hard to put that And the bad thing is, I'm not sure if it's going to be that close. I'm going to go about 17 points. Oak Forest wins. I think Simpson's going to start out really well, but I think Oak Forest takes it in the end. I think, like you said, really good football culture there. They know how to win. They won last year. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and they take it.
See, don't get me wrong. Simpson's run game is really good. They've got some good players who can run the football. And I personally think that if Simpson had a passing game, that we would all have completely different decisions or different, decisions. But I also still believe that this Simpson team is a rebuilding team. I think it's time that, once again, Simpson understands that they're not the powerhouse that they used to be. And like I said, I think that it's time to get some people. Simpson's always able to run the ball. That's been a given. They develop running backs.
For sure.
But now I think it's time that you develop you a quarterback. Because I think right now, and we've seen it all over, how, especially in Mississippi high school football, passing is starting to become a...
You can't just ground the ball for 4 quarters anymore. Everything's going more West Coast. You got to spread the offense out now.
I'm telling you. And I think that that's a key factor in whether or not Simpson will win games or lose games is the passing.
I said that Corbin and Michael should have big games this week, but I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say I think that Simpson's going to surprise everyone this week and have a good week of passing. I have a feeling that's going to happen.
If it happens, I don't know where it came from because they showed no signs of it last week.
I'm going to add. I don't think Simpson tries to drop back more than 3 times in the entire game. My thing is, listen.
This game doesn't matter to Simpson, really.
Listen, I predicted Oak Forest to win by 17 points, but that doesn't show my confidence in this prediction. I think whoever wins, it's not going to be that close. I just think this type of game it's going to be. I think one of the teams is going to pull away from the other, but I'm not near as confident as I was in the Leak Simpson game, and I had Leak, and they proved me wrong then, and I'm not near as confident now, so it's very likely that they proved me wrong, but something in my head is just telling me Oak Forest takes it. I think they're overall just more athletic.
So once again, we all have Oak Forest besides Ethan. Ethan has Simpson winning.
Does anybody know when Harvey comes back? Or is he...
That's what I was going to mention. When Hooks Harvey gets back, the passing game will pick up, and that could be a huge benefit to that offense.
That'll make it a whole different team.
Agreed.
The losing the quarterback, and they don't have Gardner right now, though.
Gardner comes back next week, and that'll be a big boost for them.
I'm saying they're running the ball like this, and they don't have him. That's
now we also need to take into consideration what kind of injury Gardner has been dealing with.
He's not going to come back full throttle.
And another thing, I'm not quite sure what position, but I know he's good on defense. Noah McGee was out last week in their first week, and I'm not sure when he'll be back, but when he comes back, that'll be a good asset to that defense.
So, once again, all of us, Oak Forest, Ethan Simpson. Moving on to our next game, which everyone knows, it's the Simpson County Super Bowl, the 95th Simpson County Super Bowl. If you live in Simpson County, then odds are you're trying to get away to this football game, which will be on Thursday night.
This is the biggest game of the year for everybody in Simpson County.
Yeah.
The stands will be packed. I could see there being 5,000 people there.
Oh, you'll have to get there right after school on Thursday.
This is a big game. I see a lot of people talking about how, Mendenhall has put up 62 the first week, 53 the second week, and how they're just going to blow McGee out the water. But to be honest with you, I don't see that. I don't think that this game is a blowout. I think that when you have a rivalry game as big as this one, that scores from the past, from past games and past
our
weeks,
future. Nothing matters. You throw
nothing matters. That rivalry game, and this game is also played at McGee. I personally believe that I think Mendenhall does take this game, but I don't think it's a blowout. I think this is a very, very close game. I see it being anywhere between 3 to 7 points.
I want to butt in and disagree totally with you right there. As much as I know it's a rivalry game, I think Mendenhall is just honestly becoming a better school, getting way more players. They're becoming a better school. They're growing, and I think this tide's starting to change from, I think it will begin to change over the coming years, the next decade, from it being close. And I honestly think the Simpson County Super Bowl will not be near as relevant in 10 years because I think Mendenhall is just getting a lot better than McGee, and I don't think that'll slow down. I think Mendenhall will end up destroying McGee in this game. They might, if Mendenhall didn't take their starters out of this game, they could put up 100 points on McGee. And I mean it when I say that.
I want to point out that Mendenhall's starters have scored on every drive except for one.
That's insane.
I want to say something to Grayson.
And that one was a fumble.
You said that that it's a rivalry, so anything could happen. All right, that's true in games like the Egg Bowl when you have 5-star athletes and 4-star, 3-stars on each side. Mendenhall has 10 times the talent McGee has this year. It is no question. Their quarterback's better, their receivers are better, their running back's better, their defense is better, their offensive line is better. Overall, they are better. Their coaching is better.
I understand that.
There's been years where...
But in a rivalry game,
the stakes
a player's mindset is completely different.
I understand that, but at some point, talent's just going to speak for itself. You know, overall.
I agree with the rivalry thing, but rivalry means more than you're putting to it. And I actually checked the archives today, and in 2000 when I think McGee only lost 2 games and ended up winning the state championship, Mendenhall had a 6-6 or 7-5 record, and they only went on to win the game 21-20. That's just how big of a rivalry it is. Everybody puts everything into it, but I think it's a blowout Mendenhall way.
Look at last year, okay? Mendenhall was a lot better than McGee last year. Look at what the score was last year. It's going to be even worse because there's even a bigger gap in talent. Mendenhall is insanely good. And I honest to God mean, if Mendenhall doesn't pull their starters, they will score 100 points on McGee. 3-digit 100 points on McGee. McGee is not good, okay? I watched them against North Forest. What is it, a 2A school? Bad 2A at that. North Forest sucks. They couldn't catch, they couldn't block, they couldn't run, they could do nothing.
North Forest couldn't even putt.
They were terrible, okay? They were just absolute trash. And I don't think that shows us anything for McGee.
And how many points did McGee put up?
43.
Yeah,
2 of them were defensive touchdowns.
I'm gonna kind of shift the whole discussion here from kind of like an open table discussion to more of like an interview type thing. And I want to ask Steven, you know, you are on the team and you're at the practices, you're in the meetings and stuff. How do the coaches change their coaching mentality and their motivations, their speaking? You know, what changes? Can you tell if there's a change in practices, in energy, and things like that leading up to this week?
There's definitely a change. The coaches are definitely more energetic, trying to get everything out of the players this week because it is the biggest game of the year in a lot of people's eyes. And you know, there's playoffs and all that, but if you beat McGee or vice versa, if McGee beats Mendenhall, that's a good season for you, honestly. So I think there's a definitely a mindset change. And you know, one of our coaches named Derek Jenkins, when he played at Mendenhall, never won against McGee, and he's the defensive coordinator. So it's a big game for him. His first year back at Mendenhall, he wants to come in and just shut them out. But I mean, there's definitely a mindset change.
You know,
I, however, am going to decline to comment on the game and who wins.
Okay, I respect that.
I'm going to add, I believe Mendenhall shuts McGee out.
I don't know about that.
I don't believe so. I think once the game gets out of hand,
I don't see McGee scoring more than 17.
I think.
I mean, how much did they score last
I
week?
think that
14.
12.
Was it 12? Well, that went 42-12.
41-12.
41-12.
I think that the new head coach for McGee, in a few years, I'm not saying that McGee
This is definitely a young and upcoming team.
And this is a good head coach too. He can.
His record at Philadelphia was something in the area of 128 to 25.
Yeah, I mean,
although he never won a state championship, he was going 9-1, 10-1 every year.
But it's not like he had just tons of talent to pull from in Philadelphia either.
But like I said, I still think I still have Mendenhall winning this game, but I don't think that it's going to be as big of a blowout like everybody's saying. I think that you can see this win being anywhere from 3 to 7 points, and so I'm choosing Mendenhall. Sorry about that.
I'd like I said earlier, I have McGee winning this game is nowhere in my mind. Like I said, I have Mendenhall shutting
McGee.
I have Mendenhall shutting them out.
I'm not going to say they're going to shut them out, but I've definitely got Mendenhall winning by about 35 to 40, easily.
There won't be a shutout. But overall, McGee just isn't that great of a team. Well, I'm not going to say they're not that great of a team because they won every game against, no competition. But I'm not going to say they're not that great of a team. Once again, we haven't seen them against great competition like Mendenhall. But when Mendenhall puts up the numbers they did against Florence, the numbers they did against Raymond, you can't bet against them. I'm not biased. I'm just saying it would be stupid to bet against Mendenhall.
Well,
as much as I hate there being a unanimous panel, and part of me, wants to say, well, let's throw a curveball, pick McGee. My heart won't let me do that. My head won't let me do that. Mendenhall is going to destroy McGee. It won't be close. Once again, Mendenhall will pull their starters before it's over. But I'm going to say it again because this is how confident I am. Mendenhall could score 100 points on McGee.
I keep hearing you say that McGee's played nobody, but I don't think some people know. Mendenhall's 4A, McGee's 3A, correct? Yes. So, I mean, we do play better talent and everything, but I think that come Friday night, Mendenhall will prove why.
Not necessarily. I mean,
or Thursday night.
McGee played a bad 2A.
McGee beats Raymond.
I don't think they beat Florence.
I don't think McGee beats Florence. I do have McGee beating Raymond, but I do not have McGee beating Raymond like Mendenhall did.
Florence isn't as good as people give him credit for.
I think that Florence and McGee game would be a lot closer than people.
Yeah, but I still have Florence winning it.
I think McGee might beat Florence, honestly. Florence,
especially if Papa still rushes for 3 touchdowns.
So, moving on from that, we're going to go back over all of our picks, going back to our featured game, Northwest Rankin versus Pearl. I've got Northwest Rankin.
I've got Northwest Rankin in the area of 10 to 14 points.
I got Pearl, about 3.
Northwest Rankin.
Pearl in a close game. It's going to be about 7 to 10 points.
Our next game, Simpson Academy versus Oak Forest. Like I said, I just see Simpson struggling this game, and I think the struggles are too much to overcome, and I've got Simpson losing.
I've also got Simpson losing. I think, along with Alex said, 17 to 20 is about going to be the margin of defeat for them this week.
I got Simpson winning. I think Corbin and Michael have another good game, and I think they show us something with their passing game.
I've got Simpson losing again, and I hope it doesn't come back to bite me again. But I don't think it'll be a blowout. But I don't see them being able to keep up with Oak Forest late in the game after Oak Forest has jumped on them. I just don't see it happening. So I got Oak Forest by about 3.
I think that this is the hardest to predict out of the three games, but
definitely.
But Oak Forest is just, they have better players, they have more talent, they're more athletic than Simpson is. Simpson's dealing with a lot of injuries, granted. Simpson can't pass. I do think Oak Forest isn't the team they were last year, but I think Simpson lets it slip early, and Oak Forest wins about 17 to 20 points.
Going on to our last game, which is the Simpson County Super Bowl. Like I said, I don't think that you can go against Mendenhall in this game. I think that they've shown way too much in the past 2 games. But I also don't think that you should say this is a blowout. I think that this is a big-time game. A lot's at stake. It's a rivalry game. And I've got Mendenhall winning in a close one. I would say they won't win by more than 7. So I'm going to say within 3 to 7 points, Mendenhall wins.
Once again, I'm just going to decline to comment on the game.
I got Mendenhall blowing McGee out, blowout. I think they shut them out as well.
I got Mendenhall, of course. You know, a lot of people are saying we're biased because we chose Mendenhall last week, I think unanimously. I mean, there's an obvious reason, and we're choosing them again unanimously. But it's not biased just because we're from Mendenhall. When they're averaging 58 points a game, when their starters have scored on every offensive drive they've played on, except for one, which was because of a fumble, that's not bias. It's an easy pick right there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a gut check game. It's a rivalry game. Some think it could go either way, but I don't see it going either way. Now, if McGee comes out here and just smacks Mendenhall in the face, that's going to be something that Mendenhall has only felt at the beginning of the year. That was against Florence. And really, it wasn't a smack in the face because it was the first few drives of the season. So they settled in and they did what they had to do. But if they can come out here and smack them in the face, then maybe McGee has a better chance in the outcome. But I see probably a 35 to 40 point win for Mendenhall easily.
Once again, Mendenhall blows McGee out. It's not going to be close. But I will say, Mendenhall has everything to lose, and McGee has everything to gain. No one with a level head who's not looking at this with any bias expects McGee to win this game. They played no one. Mendenhall's played a lot of good people. As shown. What'd you say? There's been one drive where the starters haven't scored, and that was because of a fumble. That's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Anyways, well, Mendenhall has everything to lose. If they lose this game, it destroys their season. It could very well destroy their season and just, start a snowball effect that, makes Mendenhall lose for
It
the
could
rest
take
of
all of them.
If Mendenhall loses to McGee, their season is done for.
If McGee wins,
it catapults them into
if McGee wins, they shock everyone who was really looking at this. I think McGee fans would be shocked if McGee won this game. And that would boost their momentum up so high that if McGee wins this game, McGee won't be stopped. That's all I have to say, but I do have Mendenhall destroying McGee in the end.
Well, that's all for our pick'em. Once again, we want to thank you all for watching. We want to also give a big shout out to two of our other sponsors, Brandy's Hope and Maggie May Designs. Be sure to keep tuning in each week, and be sure that you are messaging us with your high school football games if you want your game to be featured. I want to thank everybody who messaged us this week. Like I said, after looking at it, we just had to go with Northwest Rankin and Pearl. That was just the obvious choice. But who knows? Your team could be next. Just shoot us an email. If you would like to talk to us about a sponsorship, you can contact us via Facebook message. You can go to our website, GroupCastSports.com, and you can find all of our employees and their contact information. But yeah, just want to thank you all for watching, and be sure to go to the Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow us, like us, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Once again, thanks for watching, and hope you all enjoy.